What started me on this path? I think the biggest event was the March on Washington in 1963. I was nominally liberal. I was a graduate student at the time at Johns Hopkins, and we were on vacation on the Jersey Shore, and the other couple I was with, the fellow said, "You want to go to Washington tomorrow? There's a big march." And I said, "Oh, sure, why not?" And went in, and that was an extraordinary experience to hear Martin Luther King and the others speak at the march. And that started me on the area of race relations, of being involved.
My 8th grade American history teacher was Rutledge Pearson. And the first day of the class, he told us about the book for the class. Then he slammed the book down on his desk and he told us to leave it home. Mr. Pearson wanted us to know more about the salient contributions that blacks made to American history. And in addition to that, he told us freedom is not free. If you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And he encouraged us to join the Youth Council NAACP, which I did. 4 years later, I became president of the Youth Council NAACP, and the following year, as president, I led the sit-in demonstrations in downtown Jacksonville at Woolworth's and other stores, which resulted in the now infamous Axe Handle Saturday.
And I looked around my community and said, hey, we have a lot of physicians. Why not we start a medical clinic? And all you do is that give me 4 hours per month. And everyone was excited and said that, yes, why not we can do it? To go ahead and take the leadership or an ownership, and we are behind you.
So graduate school just opened me wide open to ideas. And it weren't simply history, there was religion, and there was literature, and there's society and so forth that gradually evolved. And when I got to Hollins College, teaching history, I introduced a black history course. This is the late 60s, which is the first time that had been taught there. And I learned from that as much as the students do.
I will say 80% or 90% the people who come to are people from other faith. As far as our community goes, I will say there are 2 extremes. One who are super rich, all physicians, doctors, software developer, they are well-to-do, they make sure that they have everything, or they are below the poverty line. When I say below the poverty line, that means they are eligible for Medicaid, Medicare. So in between there are numbers, but not that as huge that we think that, okay, this need should be established specifically for the Muslim community. So when I saw that the people were, okay, there's a medical need, and when I looked around our community, I said that, hey, we have a talent. What all it needs is someone to take lead. Islamic Center Board, and they jumped on it.
The thing that I learned through Mr. Pearson, both in Black history and also as a member of the Youth Council, is an appreciation not only for the legacy of Black history, but appreciation for the struggle, which is the day-to-day fight against racism in this country.
My heroes are human, not of the heroic sense that they can do no wrong. I got to know Hans Tanzler after he was mayor. And what nobody knew at the time that he was mayor was he was an advocate for better race relations. He had set up the Human Rights Commission. He appointed the first black advisors and people like Alton Yates, and he set up a job program for inner city young people. So I asked him one time, you're a Southern athlete, macho male, Florida graduate. How did you become interested in or concerned about race relations? And he laughed, and then he said, you know, it's funny, your mother brings you up to respect all people. And circumstances may change, but the people are still there. And I think this has happened to a lot of whites in the South growing up of his generation, that they grew up segregationists, and the greater ones changed.
And that hero, if I say that, it's my parents. As I told you, the person who's having a $4 per month paycheck, and my dad waking up in the middle of the night asking God, hey, don't let my child go through what I went through. And here I am. My mom, whenever some difficulties come across, she just fast for the day. Let's take care of it.
I'm an old school music DJ. I'm a classic R&B and soul and classic Motown. And from time to time, I teach a class at University of North Florida in the OLLI program, the OSHA Lifelong Institute on classic Motown. I did it about 2 years ago. I'll probably do it again maybe with the winter or the fall class.
People think that I'm a physician. People think I have a big degree in medical administration. The answer is none of them. I'm just a software developer trying to bring in the technologies in the medical field and make sure that, okay, whatever we do, automated things to be done. So in medical, so I'm not, neither of them I am.
I think we need to recognize we are a very divided society and country. Try to figure out how to build bridges. Build bridges among progressives so that the environmentalists work with the education people who will work with the elder care people. So let's strengthen all of these efforts. We need to build bridges to our opponents so that Unitarians will work with Southern Baptists to feed the hungry, because they can agree on that, and house the homeless. Half the people don't vote in the major elections, and 3/4 didn't vote in the mayoral election. How do we get them to the polls? How do we get them involved? And those are challenges that face us today, tomorrow, and into the future.
You never hear anyone say progressive and Jacksonville in the same sentence. And one of the reasons why is that Jacksonville has this stick your head in the sand instead of confronting some of the problems. Race relations and the lack of doing something, racism, segregation, those kinds of issues, they're the 800-pound gorilla in the room. They're not going to go anywhere. And it's not until your civic and political leadership say, let's do something about it.
My faith says that, hey, if you do something for others, what goes around and comes around. Yes. And like there is a prophet saying that, hey, when someone raises his hand and asking good for someone else, angels are asking that, hey, look at this guy. He's asking for someone else. Oh God, give him. And that's what I got it. And this country has given me a best.
This idea of building bridges, I know that's a theme of this event, and the building bridges between progressives, whether you're environmentalist or an elder care person or a preschool person, we need to work together to mobilize our energies to achieve our goals. And I think that the challenge to our community is to not live only in our neighborhoods, but to reach across bridges again to other neighborhoods.